Death be not proud.
Well, alright, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time for the Holy Diver Show. On today's show, I will be responding to a couple of videos made by Discourse Miniatures. How Games Workshop hacks your brain, and Games Workshop's biggest scandal just dropped. Now, like a lot of wargamer influencers, this ambiguous butt-clapping captain of the Bussy Patrol, and I respect it, he's out there trying to sell his bussy like Terry on Reno 911 to the lowest bidder at tacos.
Terry! I wanted to get like a little bit of how much would it be? $5. Terry, I'm a cop. Look,
What?
I'm holding your hand and I'm a cop.
It's $5 for the tacos.
I just asked about it. You know.
Ouch! What are you guys doing? Tacos is self-serve tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
He has to invent a new drama bitch session every single week about Games Workshop price or some other scandal going on in the world of wargaming. So much so that this guy is like a gold mine to write subject matter. His content is the typical dumb, safe for all audiences, loosely talking around one subject tied to GW, not to mention your standard collectivist commie trash. Did I mention this guy lives in the UK? America, with the easy mode setting turned on? Biggest scandal deals with the selling of loot crates. Discourse states that this is a form of gambling because GW controls what goes in to these boxes. Well, no shit, Sherlock. If they could slap lipstick on a pig, force it to work the street corner next to a GW store, they'd do it as long as it brought in a couple of extra bucks. He says that this is predatory because there are people out there who cannot assess risk. Needless to say, the loot crates sold out, all right? They sold out. So that can mean one of three things. People wanted to roll the dice, people are stupid, or they just had some money to burn. It could be any one of those things. It could be any one of those three things. Discourse says loot box purchases are directly correlated with problem gambling behavior. Do we really need these predatory products in our hobby? And I want you to listen to the wordplay there. This butt-clapping captain of the Bussy Patrol said, our hobby. There's that typical collectivist commie mindset. Our hobby. One, this isn't our hobby, nor is it the hobby of the proletariat. This is my hobby. Warhammer is not a hobby for poor people. It's a hobby for people who have some discretionary income, for people who do not suffer from minimum wage syndrome. That's who gets to play Warhammer. If you're a minimum wage earner, I already said in the last Holy Diver show that maybe you need to sort your life out and figure out that your next hobby should be a second job. All right? Lazy people always have to work twice as hard. Remember that, all right? Discourse brings up this CGBC, compulsive gambling behavior, which means another fake disorder made up by people with degrees in psychology, again, people who are not medical doctors. Then goes on to say the government then goes on to cite that the UK government, those who engage in loot box purchases will encounter the following: poor mental health, financial woes. None of that crap means anything. Like, does the UK government care? I gotta ask you people in the UK, does your government really care what you spend your money on? Do they really get out these bureaucratic research boards to see where people are spending their money and how they're going broke? Maybe they do. I mean, it is a socialist country where, they have nothing better to do than crawl up your asshole about every little thing you do. Like, the knife situation. You have a shovel, that could be used to fight the government. We're going to have to take that farm implement away from you. That is the UK. I would expect that kind of behavior. You're basically saying that we as a collective need to come together to create more safety nets for stupid people. That's what part of this subject matter in this video is about, I'd hate to have to tell you something. If you buy a loot crate, you are stupid. You have just spent your money on stupid shit. All right? One of the psychological tricks he says to loot crates is perceived value. All right? Even with FOMO marketing, nobody is actually holding a gun to your head forcing you to buy these loot crates. Two, you as an individual make the decision to buy GW product, spend the money on heroin, or buy groceries. See how I gave you three choices with your money there? You can buy heroin, you can buy useless GW products, or you can buy groceries, all right? Or, there's a fourth one. You can save your money for a rainy day, which is something that a lot of people in the States are incapable of doing. And then there's three. You as an individual have free will. Did you get out of bed today? Yes. Then you are clearly adult enough to decide whether or not to make the decision of buy or not to buy. All right? The problem with people like Discourse is they want a collectivist society that throws out endless safety nets for stupid people just to keep them from hitting rock bottom. At 7 minutes and 50 seconds in to the video, Discourse says that this is GW's latest tactic to abuse whales. And whales are not rich people. I will give you all a second to remove your palms from your collective faces on that one.
Explain to me why you brought me this big-ass motherfucking flower.
Oh, right. Well,
Nigga, you gay?
Whales are people who struggle with their spending because they are neurodivergent impulse buyers that can't help themselves. A whale is someone who can actually afford to buy anything they want. I can afford anything I want on the Warhammer website. It doesn't make me any difference. I'm technically a whale. But the difference between me and somebody with an alleged disability is that I guess I have free will and I choose not to spend my money on stupid shit. Alright, I spent over $1,200 assembling my Iron Warriors army. I went to eBay. I went to stores. I also made an order from the GW website. I went across all three platforms, and if I didn't, if I bought everything new, it probably would have cost me about $1,600, maybe $1,700. All right? When I finished painting it, I played 3 games, went back to playing Orcs, and since then I have reread the Codex, wrote some things down, made some flashcards, and I'm thinking about expanding my collection, but not yet. I'm exercising this little thing us big guys like to call self-control. Then he accuses GW of cultivating an atmosphere where it is desirable to spend more money than you can afford. I say to that, bah humbug. If buying Games Workshop products is putting you into the poorhouse, you should kill yourself. You throw your ass out in front of traffic. You and your autism will not be missed. Making up a fake class of people, calling them whales, and then saying they have a disability is a load of horse stuff. You know it, I know it, and the collectivist Lord Omnisire knows it as well. Are they disabled or are they just stupid? I guess if you live in the UK, the land of jammy dodgers, 12 million migrants since 1997, and I'm disabled, bohum and bollocks, please Mr. Anglo-Saxon taxpayer, throw me another lifeline before I hit rock bottom. I guess you must be retarded one step down from stupid. And you have to be retarded to buy into the study of psychology, an entire degree field where all you do is make up BS labels on the fly, end up $180K in debt, and you can't even write a prescription for safe, legal cut heroin like every other American doctor. An American dentist, he can give me a prescription for heroin. He can give me a prescription for pain pills. He's been to this thing called medical school. Most people who major in psychology did not go to medical school. So it's pretty much a mute point. We're just going to make up some BS, and then we're going to say it's a condition, and then you can get a government check. That's kind of how the UK works. That's slowly how the United States is going to work pretty soon too. Which brings me to the next video, how GW hacks your brain. So how does GW hack your brain? Bohum and bollocks, Ine Chuck, magic.
Can't resist the Q-man and my super-powered genitalia. Apache penis, Ine Chuck.
Or do they use FOMO marketing? let me surrender some half points here, all right? Let me point out that frugality is not taught in schools, all right? So it's a virtue that's just long gone. They don't teach it in schools anymore, all right? We are also taught to consume and chase after that instant gratification that comes with consumption, all right? That whole point about, like, my neighbors, all right? My neighbors are, I live in somewhat an affluent area. My neighbors all drive Teslas, big pickup trucks, or Porsche SUVs, and they never park their cars in their garages. Their garages are loaded with crap. They're just entire wall-to-wall crap. They keep their cars outside to basically show off because they never psychologically left this thing we call junior high school, where everybody wants to sit at the cool kids table, and the cool kids all have the latest Air Jordans. They have the Gap shirts. Oh, wait a minute. Poor kids shopped at the Gap. They have the Marco Polo shirts or Massimo shirts, and they talk a certain way, and it's that dick measuring contest from junior high that people never really left, and they're always showing off. They're, and I bet you can find some public data on people, like, to see who has a second and a third mortgage, because people like to pretend like they are wealthy. And so they throw their cars out there, they throw their motorhomes out there, they throw their ATVs out there, and they're basically showing off their debt. And then when shit hits the fan, this usually causes divorce amongst the women, because Tina from Winnetka, the suburbanite princess, noticed that Sally from Reseda had the new Audi Q10. And, well, now she needs a Porsche to one-up Sally. That's usually how the mindset works. And 3, temperance is a virtue considered unattractive in the West, hence our obesity rates. Having surrendered a little bit of ground on that one, most of this video talks about the consumption of GW piles of shame. Remember when I said that if you can't paint 100 miniatures in a month, you should get the bleep out of the hobby? I'm still sticking to my guns on that one. Most hobbyists, most influencers, they are lazy. Lazy. They 100% you are lazy. This hobby is work. If you can't work your back catalog, you are lazy. 100% lazy. If you can't mitigate your piles of shame, you are stupid. End of story. Or you just don't have the will to work. A lot of gamers who get into Warhammer, they literally sit around, trade memes with one another, and they play half-painted games of 40K. I want to go, you know what, I'm going to make a show. I'm going to go into a hobby store. I'm actually going to go into a hobby store and just take pictures of people playing games. And I'm going to see how many armies are painted, or just how many of them are in a state of disrepair or garbage status, and that's most of the gamers. That I'm going to make a show about that, just how lazy most GW gamers are. It's not like one thing I never see. You can talk all this shit on historical war gamers or people who play Old Hammer. You can talk all the shit you want on them, but the people who play those games actually like the hobby, and their stuff is painted to a good standard, and they like it. I guess that's why, I can't find a decent painted fantasy army on eBay right now, is because people like to collect, and they like to hold on, and they know it's worth a lot of money. And if they really needed to, they could sell it, but they choose not to because, they're not as lazy as your typical collectivist commie gamer in the store, where it's like, oh, we're all the same here, except for you, HD. You said something about the Sheeny curse, and that makes you bad. I was bragging about how my stepdad was a Jew, and the rabbi was writing letter after letter to him before he married my mother. He's like, oy vey, Bartholomew, this woman is a schmear, she's a shiksa with a shiksa children, don't marry the goy. And that probably got me written up. It was overtly anti-Semitic and offended this one kid, but we're all together, we're all the same. That's a load of bullshit. Up here, they want you to think that way. But if you were to compare my collections across the board, and I'm not going to compare myself to what's his name from Mini Wargamer J, where, you know, have you seen his house during Christmas time? It looks like they're walking around on the floorboards. Meanwhile, this guy has like 30,000 point orc and chaos armies. He's got all his wealth tied up in his armies, and he's not spending any money on his house, you know, and if he really wanted to, he could sell some of his shit, maybe partially retire in the United States and leave Canada, but he would never do it, so he forces his family to live in squalor. Yeah, that kind of thing. All right? You know, yes, the Indominus box set was a good deal. All right? But when I was asked by my FLGS if I would like to pre-order one, I said no. I roared the sacred no, which is something a lot of people are incapable of doing. All right? One, I exercise this little thing called self-control. A lot of people have no self-control. And then I assessed the three things when it came to that box. One, I don't play Marines. Two, I don't play Necrons. Three, I collect orcs. That box had absolutely nothing to do with it. So you're basically telling me to spend $250 on a box set just to get the rule book early. Well, I think I can wait. I literally think I can wait. Yeah, if you can't wait for something to come out, well then you have no self-control and you're incapable of practicing self-control. Maybe you shouldn't be in the hobby in the first place if you have no self-control. You know, it's like a lot of people who buy skins on Fortnite. They go broke buying loot crates on Fortnite. They go broke buying skins for their avatar, or, you know, or they go broke buying WoW gold, you know? I mean, you're kind of stupid if you do that. You know, and we shouldn't have to throw you any kind of safety net or bone. I got asked the same thing when Leagues of Votann came out, and I had just finished painting my Iron Warriors, and he's all like, you want to buy this box of Leagues of Votann? They're going to be great. And I said, what for? For all the wins, bro. Dude, bro, you can get so many cheeky wins with these guys because they're so good. They have these things called grudge tokens. They were so good that they had to slightly nerf the army upon release, you know. But self-control reared its ugly head again, and I roared the sacred no. Discourse never blames the consumer for their collective stupidity. He blames FOMO marketing and predatory tactics such as tags like last chance, limited time, or exclusive. He says that terms like these get the consumer oiled up and ready to spend. Games Workshop is bad because they make profits by exploiting FOMO when the product releases. Then they are getting the profit again when the models are sold at a later date. Then he cries that Games Workshop is using deceptive business practices to make money. GW should just tell us if these products are going to come out at a later date. First and foremost, they don't have to tell you shit, all right? And I didn't know if you knew this. That's kind of why businesses exist. They exist to make profit. I guess you didn't see that, did you, Four Eyes?
I guess you didn't see that, did you?
Companies exist to make profit. When I get a phone call from some old lady in the suburbs about how she's running low on water softener salt, do you think I give a crap about saving her a penny or two? No. No, I go down to Costco or I go down to Walmart, I buy the salt, I charge double what the salt costs me to buy, all right? So it's double per bag. Then I charge $30 for my gas. Then it's a $80 delivery fee, all right? Sometimes, if they order more than 10 bags, it goes up to a $120 delivery fee because I'm the one schlepping the salt in and out, all right? I'm here to earn money. Games Workshop exists just like Microsoft to earn money. Yes, I think it's unfair that you have to pay monthly to use Microsoft Word now. Yeah, that's a load of crap, but they exist to make money. They exist to make stock number go up. I didn't know if you understood that. Or, you know, they exist to pay, not only have number go up, but pay dividends to their investors. All right? With that aside, you have to understand that your average person is literally dumber than Homer Simpson. all right? And no one is forcing you to buy anything. But if you say that it's the consumer's fault because they lack self-control or they suffer from minimum wage syndrome, or 3, they are neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, or they suffer from addictive behavior, so they're retarded and they're incapable of handling their finances, well, that's none of our business, all right? It's none of our business what retarded people do with their money, all right? And we don't need to throw them any safety lines, all right? But it always comes down to, oh, somebody, not me, do something. The government should really do more to stop people from buying loot crates. That's a load of horse dump, and you know it. Whales are people who compulsively spend because they're disabled. There it is again. They're disabled. So we need to come together as a community to safeguard our most vulnerable members. I call bullshit on that. We are not in a community, all right? When I said that this is a collectivist calming mindset that he brings to Warhammer, you should check out my video, SJW's Invade Games Workshop, or the consumer versus the collector. All right. We don't need to come together to do crap. You live in the UK, I live in the United States. And if you live in the United States, that's literally 50 individual countries. Or if you want to be a little bit more technical, it's like if you divide the United States up regionally, Texas is its own machine. It's really more like 11 different countries, culturally. All right? And, we're right here. I'm just going to come out and say it. I got a big old packet here on brandishing proof of a neurodivergent cognitive disorder. All right, according to this, I have ODD, I have ADHD, I am bipolar, I have a diminished processing capacity. Now, I don't think I have a spending problem. All right, I've collected for 20 years. I've collected since junior high. All right, and I've accumulated, I've held on. One of the biggest mistakes I've made was selling my Bretonian army, selling my Beastmen army, you know? If I could go back in time, I would have told myself, don't sell any of your fantasy armies. I would have told myself that. Because I think at one point in my heyday, I had I think I might have had 11 different painted fantasy armies. Don't quote me on that. But I'm not suffering from some kind of spending problem. So your entire video is bullshit, Discourse. All right, here. And I can email this to you if you want it. All right? I can email this to you, the entire test. All right? But I don't think I need to do that. You are right about one thing. A hobby should bring you joy and purpose. But the hobby only kind of brings me joy and purpose when I see poor people priced out of it. And if you don't like the price, don't play. If you don't like the price, don't complain about it either, all right? If you can't afford to play Warhammer, play something else. Go back to your video games. You will not be missed. A bigger, more expansive hobby is exactly what will destroy the hobby. We don't need everybody playing Warhammer. We don't need women playing Warhammer, you know? We don't need gay, lesbian, black basket weavers with huge bellies playing Warhammer, all right? If you either choose to buy in, and you buy in at the stated price, or you buy a used army. And this is what I don't get. A lot of people are so freaking autistic and particular, you know, that it takes months sometimes to sell a painted model or a painted army on eBay, you know, because everybody's got to stick up their ass about how an army should look because of autism. So have you ever heard the expression, a fool and their money are soon parted? I think Jack and the Beanstalk is a perfect example of how a fool and his money are soon parted. Jack had one job: sell the cow. All right? He instead decided to sell the cow for 3 magic beans. The Gypsy didn't have a FOMO marketing campaign. The Gypsy just sort of came out from behind a bush. He's like, I see you have a nice cow there. I have some magic beans. Wanna buy these magic beans? And I'm gonna use gypsies as an example, because if you ever want to see Eurotrash get racist, just bring up gypsies. And they're like, oh, freaking bleep gypsies. These people are the worst. I hate gypsies. You'll never hear him say, I hate Africans. They all wear wear shirts about how the Africans are welcome to come in and pretty much do whatever they want, take poops on the streets, and collect welfare too. But you bring up gypsies, they turn into a different animal. All right? He just said, I have 3 magic beans. It's like, oh, I'll take all 3. Here's my cow. All he had to do was sell the cow. All right? Now I will state that he went up there and he eventually wrestled the goose away from the giant and they lived happily ever after. But it was a quest that he never needed to go on. He could have avoided all of that risk. All right, so I guess Jack couldn't assess risk. You know, he went up there, he messed around with the giant, and he almost lost his life. All right, but you know, the moral of the story is next time just sell the cow. And you know, if you want to save money, I'm going to give you a quick list of things you can do to save money. All right, stop drinking, stop smoking crack, stop eating fast food, stop buying loot crates. Pick 3 games, play 1 army, and never deviate. 1 army per game and never deviate. If you're left out of a game, you're left out of a game, all right? But mitigate your spending. Oh my God, heaven forbid. And 6, maybe go on a crash diet involving Philip Morris cigarettes and Diet Coke. Well, in any case, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, or subscribe. But until I see you again, consider becoming a patron and joining HD's army. And keep painting, keep playing, and stay metal, my friends. And we'll see you in the next one.
On.
I figured sold out. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.